Yo, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk, and I'm your host, C Money, and this is another edition of History in South Florida. Now, earlier today, we took a ride on the Metro Rail, and I talked about the Metro Rail. We took a ride. We started at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. station, and we ended up at the Palmetto station, which is out of Midway, Florida. And then I took a bus ride to come out this way to Midway Crossings, which was formerly known as Mall of the Americas. Now, before we go inside of the mall, I want to give you another little piece of history that no longer exists. It's not really history, but it was a favorite of mine. I visited once, and this was when I was younger, maybe in my early adulthood. I don't remember the time frame, and I don't remember when I visited. I know it had to be the late 90s, early 2000s when I visited this location. Now, when this location ended up closing, it kind of put a heartbreak on a lot, because it was known as one of the hot spots in South Florida. Now, that's why I said it's a little bit of history behind it, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to try to get up to where I can, excuse me, she was sitting on her phone, so I just decided to cross. So I'm going to show you a little bit of history. It no longer sits there. If you know about this place, you'll probably have remembrance of this place. You can email me, comment at the bottom. It's going to take me a minute to walk to it, so we're going to fast forward to it. Okay, fast forward. We're on the north end of Midway Crossings, formerly known as Mall of the Americas. We're going to get to that in just a minute. We are here coming up to the Palmetto Expressway 826. Now, what I wanted to show you and talk to you about is these three buildings that sit here. Now, back in the 90s, I should say, and the late 90s and early 2000s, what sat here was something very fun and something very interesting. It was the Grand Prix Race-O-Rama. If any of you know about this, it was a family fun center that sat here until about the early 2000s. I believe it closed like 2000. I believe in 2000. I know it closed in the early 2000s. I don't remember exactly, but if you Google it, it will, and if you actually look it up within Wikipedia, it will tell you roughly around about that time it closed. I visited it one time. The location of the family fun center was a castle style family fun center where they had a castle, where the arcade and everything, it was shaped like a castle, and they had two tracks. They had a go-kart track where it went around in a circle, and then they also had an extra track that was like a actual track that was something like IndyCar racing, where you had to have an ID and you had to have a helmet and stuff like that, because most of these go-kart tracks, they don't require helmets, but this one you had to have a helmet and like a special ID and stuff. It sat over here where these Royal Palm Luxury Rentals was. This was across from the mall. So I visited here with my sister and my cousins and stuff, and we went here one time, and this was, I couldn't tell you how long ago it was or what year it was. I just know I visited one time, and we ended up coming here, and I had a good experience. And maybe we've been to the mall afterwards. I don't know, but that was one of the things I wanted to show you. That was a piece of it, and when they closed it, eventually, I believe it got sold off to these apartments, people, and it may not be a piece. It may not be a piece of history to you or to most of y'all that don't remember it, but it's a piece of history to me, because I only visited it one time, and in my whole lifetime, if I would have known about this location, I would have visited more. Like I told you when I did the video back then with the Boomers video in Dania Beach. I only knew about Boomers late in my life, but if I would have known about Boom, I would have visited it more. Now, this is a Home Depot that was recently built here, and this is a Costco's that sits on the north end of the mall. Now, I'm going to give you a little history about this mall. This mall opened up roughly in the 80s, and the mall was a premier mall spot in the Western Miami-Dade area, you know, because in the West Miami-Dade area, this mall sits roughly maybe a 5-minute drive from the FIU South campus, and maybe less than a 10-minute drive from two of the other malls, which is Miami International Mall and of course Dolphin Mall, which is the two malls that sits north of this location. This mall, when it opened up, it was called Mall of the Americas. Now, I believe the mall has been rechanged. I just recently found out the mall name has changed to Midway Crossings, and I believe the reason why it got changed, if you know the main reason why this mall got changed, of course email me or comment at the bottom of this page. But my understanding, the reason why the mall name has changed, because there were similar malls, and that is also there about other, like there's another mall that's called Mall of the Americas, and I recently saw a video about it as one of the largest malls in the United States, and I believe there were like few other malls that was named Mall of the Americas. And I guess to stop confusions of the mall names, they had to end up changing this name, and they changed it to Midway. Now, I don't know when they changed the name, but they ended up changing. Now, over here, where you see the Costco's, is another history behind it, because this is where the AMC movie theater sat here at the mall. Now, it wasn't just the AMC movie theater, it was also restaurants and other stores, and it also sat a last remaining arcade. Remember I told you in a few episodes back that, you know, a lot of these malls have lost their, you know, they used to have arcades back in the day. This was one of the malls that had the last remaining retro arcade. You know, arcades are coming back to the malls, but they're coming back as the newer standard arcades. You know, back then when you had arcades, you know, you went in, you put the money into the token machine, you got your tokens, you paid for 2 or 3 tokens with, you know, the arcade games, you play Pac-Man and, you know, the retro games that used to be back then. Now you have these arcades where you go in, you can pay by card or you can pay cash, and they give you a card and with credits on it, and then you can recharge your credits through a kiosk, or you can go to the front counter. They have, you know, the newer style, and they don't have the retro games like Pac-Man or Atari or Tetris. They have these newer, you know, Call of Duty, you know, Tomb Raider and all of these, you know, other, you know, newer model games. So, you know, this was one of the malls that had the last remaining arcade that I visited, and it was right next door to the AMC movie theater. And the last time I visited, I don't remember, but I know I remembered it. Oh, and there's another thing about this mall. Remember when I told you about how Radio Shack made a comeback, and we did a video a while back recently that they have gotten rid of the Radio Shack inside of the Westland Mall because it was 2 locations. Well, this is one of the other locations. This is the food court area, and a lot of the food court, I haven't been to this mall in about a few years. So this is Radio Shack. If you remembered, I did a video a while back stating that Radio Shack has made a comeback, and they did have 2 locations. They had one here at this mall, which is what's called the Mall of the Americas, and they also had one at Westland Mall. And I did a video recently that said that they took out the Radio Shack that was in the mall that was in Westland Mall. Now, over here this is the north end of the mall, and I'm going to give you an outlook of the north end of the mall. Like, as you can see, they have taken out, they closed down the north end because this used to be where you walk further down and you got to the movie theater, and you also got to the arcade and a lot of other stores that used to be here, and they have closed it off. They have made an Ulta Beauty if you've seen it outside, and they also have a Costco that sits right there. This is a Las Madrinas. This is I think a healthcare store that you can go to. And this is Marshall's right here. Marshall's been here for a minute. Motorist service, I believe that's the Department of Motor Vehicles right there. T-Mobile. It's also right there. You have several stores that was here when I last visited, and you have some that was not here, you know. But we're gonna take a walk through the mall. Like I said, I'm gonna give you a background of it. The mall, you know, it's been around since the 80s. They did have a movie theater, which was AMC movie theaters, and they had a gaming that was next to the movie theaters, and they also had a game room inside the movie theaters. Because you know, when you go to a movie theater, if you've ever been to an AMC movie theater, they also have like 2 or 3 video games sitting outside in the lobby area where you can play video games. But they had an actual movie theater, an actual arcade next door where you actually can, you know, go in. It wasn't associated with the movie theater, but it was, you know, well, if you wanted to play some games before your movie theater started, you go and play video games and stuff like that and all that. These are a couple of stores that are here. And like I said, this place was called Mall of the Americas, and I believe due to conflict with different, you know, stores and different malls that was also named, they named this store and changed it, and named this mall and changed it to, there's a driving school right there as well. There's a 5 and below. I guess you have to enter through the front end of the mall. This was another area of shopping. They probably have another store here. I'm gonna have to go outside and take a look. There's probably another store. There's a Citibank here. There's an entrance on the inside of the mall. There's an entrance on the outside of the mall. Oh no, 5 and below is right here. So you can enter through the mall and enter outside of the mall as well. And this way we have a couple of stores. Now a lot of these stores was not here when I last visited. Of course, you know, the Radio Shack was. I believe, I don't know if Radio Shack was here the last time I visited, but I know it recently got visited here. Now, we're gonna go in this way. Now here, if you see what empty space this is, this led to the 2nd floor. Now, there used to be a technical college here that sat upstairs on the 2nd floor. Now, since then, it was several technical colleges. And it also sat a technical store. If I'm not mistaken, it was a technical store that used to sell high-tech computers and electronics and stuff for computers and electric stuff like that. So now we're gonna come out this way. Now this is probably an area that we don't know about, or they're building on, or I'm sorry, I almost dropped my phone. So this is Micro Center, which is computers and electronics. I'm guessing it's a new store. I've never heard of it and all that. This is Burlington right here. As you know, Burlington dropped their coat factory name and just started calling itself Burlington, but it's on the other side and Ross is over here. So you can walk this mall in less than an hour, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how many, because remember, we visited the area where the former Grand Prix Race and Rama used to be at, and we also came into the mall, and we're only halfway through our video, so you can walk this mall like 30 minutes or so if you're not really walking in the store. Now, this mall used to have a dollar store as well too. Now, the dollar store completely that I see is now gone. it's now gone. So you're not going to get a lot of things. Well, now they have another dollar store. They have Five and Below, of course. So this used to be the second floor of, and it used to be, at one point, I think it was Comp USA, if I'm not mistaken. That used to be an electronic place, and then they had another location. I forgot the name of the location here. If you know what it was, email me. Let me know, because they're not going to show up on their website. It's not going to tell you anything. We're going to come outside to this area where there's a couple of stores out here. There's a salon right here. There's a gold jewelers right here. There's a nail shop right here. And you know, this is on the outskirts. Now this mall sits off of West Flagler Street and 79th Avenue. It is, to me, in the Sweetwater area. Now I don't know the exact location of the city of this location, but it is near the Sweetwater area, because if you know, Sweetwater is where FIU North, not FIU North, FIU South campus, where Dolphin Mall, Miami International Mall, you know, because we're in between Sweetwater and Doral. So I would call this maybe the Sweetwater area. Because a couple of streets down, you have a Walmart here, but you have several. So this is the front entrance of Citibank. This is the front entrance of Five and Below. We're going to see if there's a area here. We're going to turn back around and go back this way, because this is probably the entrance that is best for us if we're going to continue back into the mall. Now, as you can see, I walked the mall and it's been less than 30 minutes. You can access this. There are like 3 or 4 bus services that service this mall. They used to have a bus service that actually went in directly to the mall, because they had a bus stop in the parking lot. But when they changed the bus service, they only have buses that serve on the outskirts of the mall, meaning that they'll serve bus stops on the main streets of the mall, which is one of them that I did, that took me from the Palmetto Station, that took me here, but it doesn't serve inside of the mall. They don't have like most malls have a bus stop that sits inside the mall's parking area. Now we're back into the mall, and as you can see, we are here. They have a lot of the stores that sit on the outside. They have tampered into the inside of the mall's space, like the micro store. They have where the back side of the stores is taking up the mall space. So this is the Citibank. This is Five and Below. I'll probably be going in there in a little bit to get a few things out of there, because you know, Five and Below is one of my spots. But this is one of the places where you can actually go and you can actually, you know, this is for the people who live out in the western part of Miami. If you was, you know, if you're going, like, if you live out in the FIU area, or if you're a student on campus at FIU, or if you don't want to go and have the hassle of having a lot of traffic at Dolphin Mall, you will come out here. It's less than a 10-minute drive from Dolphin Mall, but it's 5 minutes from FIU, which is right there by the Dade County Youth Fairgrounds as well, like Tammy Emery Park. So it's all that. So, you know, they have a lot of interesting stores here, but you know, as well, they have, you know, if you want to shop, it's not a big mall. It used to be bigger than this. Remember when I told you where Costco sat at, there was a AMC movie theater, there was a few other restaurants and stores, and they had an arcade here. And when they closed down the movie theater, that's when they built the Costco's. And I guess the Ulta Beauty came later on, and then they started revamping this mall to where maybe they probably felt like they can make more money by adding bigger retailers like Costco and, you know, Ulta and a lot of these other retailers like Ross and Burlington and all of them has been here. You know, Marshall's and those locations have been here. But, you know, they wanted to, I guess, shorten the mall and make it more, you know, and save money. But the one thing I did like about this mall, they did bring back Radio Shack, which was a good favorite of mine. Here's a little massage area where they have where you can get massages and stuff, and they have a little coffee, little mobile coffee shop place, or this little kiosk where there's something that you can sit here, and we're back at the food court. So, of course, we've walked this mall. I mean, there's not much in the mall that you can say that is, about it, but you can easily say that there's, something. Now, there's nothing really. Well, if you want something for the kids to do, of course, you have these little kiddie rides here that, for the kids to do. Or if you want to do something, saying yourself, there's nothing much to hear. Like I said, they used to have an arcade. The arcade has been going for about 10 plus years. I can tell you that Costco's been there for a minute. This mall actually also sits, if you are on the eastern side, the eastern side of the mall, 826, which is the Palmetto Expressway, which is what we talked about in our earlier video when we did the video about the train station. You can see the mall from the Palmetto Expressway. When you get off of Flagler Street, on the 826 exit, it will have a section of the exit where you can drive directly into the mall area to, the street that goes directly into the mall, which is 79th Avenue. It has it where you can actually have it has a street that goes directly to the mall, so you can do that as well. I'm going to sit here and give you a little bit more information on the mall. Some of the restaurants here, like the La Fatata barbecue specialties, that's been here. The Flagler Burger, Charbo Burgers, that's been here for a minute. The Yogurt Life, that used to be a ice cream shop, but I think it's retroed and somebody bought it into a yogurt shop, because I think it used to be Larry's Ice Cream. Yeah, it used to be Larry's Ice Cream. That's one of the stores I remember. Over here, next to this Spanish restaurant that's next to Radio Shack, there used to be a dollar store, which was called Dollar Star, and that was a place that I frequent and when I used to come over here. But of course, the Dollar Star, I believe, has now gone. And I remember, like I said, there used to be a technical college here that used to be upstairs on the second floor near the Ross and Burlington area. They had an elevator and stairs so that you could get upstairs. And at one point, there was a computer store that sat up here. I forgot the name of the computer store. I don't remember it. If you remember it, let me know. Email me, comment at the bottom of the page. But all of that. But as well, this is overall a small, interesting mall. It's not many stores in here because of the fact that they have revamped this mall into a small in and out mall. Meaning you come here, you get what you want, you come out. If you want a mall where you can stay in for a long haul, you will go down the street to where Dolphin Mall is at. That would take you over an hour, and they have entertainment there. I did a video about it. You can check it out in my hotspots in South Florida, where we did a video about Dolphin Mall. I didn't do International Mall, which is a mall that sits less than 2 minutes away from from Dolphin Mall, and also it's like maybe a 5-minute drive from here, because this is off of 79th Avenue and West Flagler Street, and Miami International Mall is off of 107th Avenue and 12th Street. So it's basically less than a 10-minute drive for either Miami International Mall or Dolphin Mall. But this is one of the malls that people will go to. If you stay out in the Little Havana area and you want to go to a mall and you don't want to go far out, you can come out west and you can come to this mall. If you are a student at FIU and you want to come out here to a food court restaurant and get something to eat, there are shopping plazas within the area of FIU as well. But if you want to go to a mall and you want to go do a little mini shopping and stuff, you have three choices. Because FIU sits on the 107th Avenue, and if you take 107th Avenue going north, you'll end up at International Mall. And then if you go north and then go a little bit west, 2 minutes from International Mall, you'll end up at Dolphin Mall. But if you want something small and subtle, you take 107 to Flagler Street, which is less than a 2-minute drive then you come south, and then you come east, and then you're here at Midway Crossings, formerly known as Mall of the Americas. Now, if you Google it, it'll tell you Mall of the Americas. But if you go on their website, and I had to go through Facebook to figure this out, because I had to look it up through Facebook, through their social media, and I found out, hey, it's called Midway Crossings. So you might have to look up Midway Crossings, because if you look up Mall of the Americas, it's going to show you Mall of the Americas, but it's not going to show you the website to Mall of the Americas, because remember, there are several other Mall of the Americas in the United States. One of them I've seen earlier on social media as one of the largest malls in the United States, and they have like a theme park and everything in it. I forgot the city that was in, but this was once named Mall of the Americas, and it's now called Midway Crossings, where they have the only remaining Radio Shack. Remember what I did? I told you earlier in the show that I did an episode where they revived Radio Shack, and they had 2 locations in Miami. They had one at Westland Mall that we did a video a while back, and then they have one here at the old Mall of the Americas, now Midway Crossings. And I did a video recently and said that I visited back at Westland Mall, and they removed the Radio Shack and made it, I believe, a clothing store. And I looked on their website to see if the Radio Shack was still here, and I was like, yes, the Radio Shack is still here. So, I can go in. I might go in there and buy something. I do need an antenna for my TV. So I said I'll go get it from Radio Shack, because this is what you do when you try to support these businesses. Radio Shack is an online store, but they do have, and they're trying to revive and bring back the in-store shopping. So this is the only Radio Shack in South Florida that I know of. And if they have a Radio Shack in your area, let me know, because I want to keep these fallen stores back up and running. Like, go support these stores like Radio Shack, Winn-Dixie, Kmart, Sears. Remember I did a show that a lot of the Winn-Dixies, I turned it into Frescoes, and they're closing and they're revamping them into mom and pop stores. Like down here, a lot of the Winn-Dixies have turned into Presidente, which is a local Spanish supermarket down here in South Florida. And another one is Fresco, which is under the Winn-Dixie C&S warehouse chain, but it's a South Florida chain where they, like a Spanish supermarket where, in most Spanish areas. And then, as I said, Kmart and Sears, they're closing their doors, and majority of all the Kmarts and the Sears down here have closed their doors indefinitely. So we done got to the point where you gotta come out and you gotta support these businesses, because a lot of these stores are closing. Like Radio Shack, they closed all of their stores, and then now they just started doing online stores, and then now they're revamping to bring back the stores to in-store shopping instead of just online shopping. Like Payless, they do online shopping. Remember Payless? They had a store in North Miami, and we did a video on the Payless store, the store that they had, and I believe the store has since closed because they didn't have no customers in there. If you remember when I did the show a while back, we went to the Kmart, to the Payless, and there was really no customers. I took my mom there because we wanted to go shoe shopping, and I wanted to see how the Payless shoe store now was it the same as the Payless shoe store back then? I'm like, no, the prices are like $40 plus for some shoes. And I'm like, back then you could get $20 sneakers, $30 sneakers. Now the sneakers are like $40 in Payless. And I'm like, what? So, and since Radio Shack's been here, and I did buy a gaming console from the Radio Shack when it was at Westland, but now Radio Shack has closed their location at Westland, and they're only here now at the Mall of the Americas, which is now Midway Crossing. And so I'm gonna go in there and shop, look around and stuff. If you have any memories of this place, you can email me, montero00@yahoo.com. You can also comment at the bottom of this page if you have any memories of this mall or any memories, of the surrounding areas. Comment at the bottom of this page. If you want to know more about this mall, Google Midway Crossings. This is the name of the mall, and former location of Mall of the Americas. If you've ever been to the movie theaters here, if you've ever been to the arcade that was here. The last time I was at the movie theaters here, I believe I went to go see a Madea movie. If it wasn't a Madea movie, I know I went here to see a Madea movie with my family, and we ended up at the arcade. And I know I went to go see movie with a few of my coworkers here, but I don't know if that was the last time I was here. But that was 10 plus years ago, because that Costco's been here for a minute. And the last time I was here, of course, the Costco was here, the movie theater was gone, and a lot of the stores got revamped. So I want to know what your intake on this. You know, the malls are changing for the good. We're going to do another episode about that, how the malls are changing and how they're changing for the not for the good, for the worse. So if you have any, if you have any memories of this mall, if you know much about this mall, you can email me, and you can also comment at the bottom of this page. I am your host, C Money. I thank y'all for watching this episode. Don't forget to click and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our hotspots in South Florida. Check out our history in South Florida, and also check out Traveling with the Round Table. I'm your host, C Money. We are at the Midway Crossings, formerly known as the Mall of the Americas, in the west part of Miami-Dade. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.